Hello, welcome to my channel Cat's Diamond Painting, or welcome back if you've joined me here before. Today I have got a post review of this lovely painting here and I'm going to kit it down with you. So without further ado, this is on my painting today. Isn't it beautiful? So this is Island Time. This is a square drill kit by Diamond Art Club and it's based on the artwork of Chuck Pinson. It's got 49 colours and it's 74 centimetres by 55 centimetres, which puts it in the sort of middle of the range of the paintings that Diamond Art Club offers. This took me, I would say, maybe around 3 weeks worth of work. I'm not sure exactly because I don't tend to work on my paintings all in one go. So I started this some point in March, did a bit, put it away, worked on a different one, did a bit, put it away, worked on a different one, came back to it and eventually finished it. So why did I choose this painting? Well, I was so drawn to the colours of this painting. I'd been working on some other landscapes prior to this, such as Inspiration of Spring Meadows and La Porta Rosa sulla Salita, both of which I have post reviews for on my channel if you're interested. And they were beautiful paintings. They were slightly darker. Well, Inspiration of Spring Meadows was very much purpley, pinky, greeny colours. And the other one was a Dream of Designs painting and it was a bit darker. So this one I felt would be a really good change of scene after working on those. And that's usually how I choose what painting to work on, really. I just think about what I've just worked on and what would be different that's in my stash to mix things up and keep it interesting. So it was the colours really that drew me in. I love landscapes generally, but I knew that this one had such bright, inviting colours that it was going to be really fun to do. So what do I love about this painting? I love the sparkliness. So this painting has got quite a lot of A-B drills. In a minute, I'm going to pan over this canvas a bit more closely, but I'll just try and show you a bit more. So hopefully you can see that there's a lot of A-B drills in those trees, which make them super sparkly. And hopefully you didn't get too clear a view of all the cat hair that I saw on that when I pulled it up to me. Need to go over this with some tweezers. So that was one thing that I really enjoyed. I really liked seeing all the little animals pop out. I'm going to point those out when I pan over it in a minute, but we've got dolphins, we've got, well, I like to say they're dodos to annoy my husband. He's like, no, they're not dodos because dodos don't exist anymore. So there's some kind of birds. A turtle here. We've got some little birds, or like little mini dinosaurs as they almost look like over here. And then there's more birds up here and a lovely little parrot in the tree. So that's really fun because those kind of pop out at you as you're working on it. I don't know about you, but sometimes for me, when I'm working up close on a painting, I don't really take in what I'm painting in that particular section. And then when I step back, it's like, oh, wow, look what I did. It was a really good mix of confetti and colour blocking. Well, I say really good mix. Actually, it probably tended more towards confetti. So what I mean by that is in a small section of the painting that you're working on, there might be lots and lots of colour changes. You can see it particularly along this sort of line here where the flowers were. So they're a bit slower going because you're constantly changing your drills. I like confetti. I don't like doing too much confetti just because it's a bit slower. So I like to have a mixture. And for me, this painting was a good mix because in the sea and in the sky and some bits of the buildings, there were also quite decent sections where I could use my multi-placer and it went a bit quicker. I would say if you don't like confetti at all, the Chuck Pinson landscapes that Diamond Art Club offers do tend more towards confetti, so they may not be so much your scene. But I liked it. I like that mixture a lot. So I'm going to pan over this and show you the details a bit more closely, and then I'm going to get on with kitting down. So here are my leftover drills that I'm going to be working on kitting down today. I've still got my sticker, which I'm going to put in a, well, I say logbook, it's really just a notebook that I haven't really turned into a logbook yet, but I'm going to put it in there because I've kept all these and then I can go back to do that later. My release paper that I used when I was working on the painting, and this is the key that I made by photocopying that sticker sheet that came with the painting at the start and then cutting out and using it so that if I was working on the painting at an awkward angle or sideways or upside down or anything like that, I could just move this around and that would help me. So as you can see, I have got drills left in every single colour. I didn't run out. I still have never run out of drills on a Diamond Art Club painting, so that's something I really like about them. Obviously that isn't to say it doesn't happen. Sometimes people do run out of drills if there's been an error, but I didn't. And I was worried I would a little bit with this one, because one little issue that I had was with the paler colours, so particularly the yellows and the pale greens, there was this thing I noticed where some of the drills had like black dots on them, black marks. Let's see if I can find one to show you. No, of course, these ones that I tipped out now don't have them. So I'm going to find some from my trash drill pot, just to show you what I mean. And it wasn't a major problem because I didn't run out of any colours, but I did wonder if I would with this painting. So I'm not sure how clearly you can see that. Some of these drills just look a little bit grubby, and they would have these dark grey marks on that wouldn't wipe off. There's another one there. So I discarded those drills, and I wondered if I'd run out, but I didn't. So no complaints there really. It's just a little bit of extra work to sort through them when you're painting, but it's no big deal. So this one is going to be a bit different to my usual kitting down because I have got a mixture of Diamond Art Club's old and new drills in here. So if you don't know what I mean, basically a few months ago, Diamond Art Club switched to manufacturing their own drills in-house. So they went from their old square drills, which were pretty good, to the newer ones, which are brilliant. The newer ones are so uniform. They've all got 13 facets on top, so they all match. So if you don't know what I mean by that, some drills have 9 facets and you see a little square on the top in the middle. Some have 13 and you see a little diamond on the top. These would all have the diamond. They would all match, and very little trash in the new drills. So they're fab. So for several months, while Diamond Art Club has been rolling out those newer drills, a lot of kits that you'd buy might have a mixture as they were using up the older drills that they had. So this canvas was the first one that I worked on that had that mixture. So it was my first taste of the new drills, and they were really nice to work with. Because of the way that I kit down, I'm going to separate those out. So basically what I do at the moment, my kitting down system consists of just putting all my spare drills in little bags. I like to keep them in case I ever need spares, because I buy a lot of paintings from the United States. I'd have to wait quite a long time to get replacements if I ran out in the middle of a kit. So I figure I may as well keep them in case I'm ever in that position and I happen to have the colour, or in case someone else runs out and maybe I can do someone a favour on a Facebook group. Anyway, I keep them. Because I have a pretty basic system at the moment, and I do intend to upgrade this at some point, but right now all I do is keep bags of drills in a bigger bag and have a spreadsheet so that I know what I've got. I like to segment them out as much as possible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a new bag for the newer type of square drills, and the older type of square drills will go in this one. So the point of doing that is really just so that it's a bit easier to find them. So say I'm working on a kit and it's got the newer drills and I see on my spreadsheet that I have spares in that colour, I don't have to search through as many because I'm just going to be searching for a smaller amount of new square drills. And it's easier for me to get straight to the new square drills rather than hunting through a bigger bag. Hope that makes sense. Basically, the more I divide my spare drills up, the easier it is to actually find the ones that I want, because I don't have a nice ordered system like lots of people do. So the first thing that I am going to try to do is to pick out the colours that have new drills. So I'm just taking a quick look to see if I can see if they're all 13 facets, or if they have a mixture of the two. And some of them I kind of know, having done the painting, and I can remember. So it shouldn't take too long to go through, but probably not very interesting for you. So I'm going to time-lapse this. Okay, so these are all of the colours that I think, having had a quick look, have the newer type of square drills. And it's most of the colours actually, which is going to make this nice and quick. So what I'm going to do now is open up my spreadsheet where I keep a log of the colours that I have. Okay, so I have made a new tab on my spreadsheet. I don't think you'll be able to see, sorry, I can't quite get the angle, but it says DMC code on one column, colour name on the other, and all I'm going to do is just fill in the DMC codes quickly. So here I go. Okay, so that's 35 of my 49 colours. I'm using the filter in Excel to put them in ascending order of DMC code. And now I'm going to prepare the labels for my baggies for storing these. Okay, so I have all of my labels prepared for this portion of the colours. I've got my Ziploc bag ready to put the drills in. I've got my little baggies that I bought on Amazon. I like these ones because I know that you do receive baggies with most paintings from, well, probably most companies now. Certainly you do with Diamond Art Club. But A, they often don't provide enough for all the colours, and B, these ones are a bit sturdier, so I prefer these. So all I'm going to do now is start to put my drills away. This key is no longer any use to me, so I will put my sticky labels on there. Let's go. So the reason I've got this tray here is just that I'm going to pour the drills into a tray and pour them into a bag from there to avoid spillage. Just makes it a little easier than trying to do it straight from the pot. This tray is my Moonimade tray, which I bought from the USA a few weeks ago. I did mention this on another video, so I won't go on too much, but I love this tray. It's a little big for me to actually use for diamond painting in my workspace, just because I tend to have the tray like this when I'm working on the edge of a table and this sticks out too much. But it's really useful for this kind of thing, and if I ever switch around how I work. So yeah, what did you think of this painting? I know it's a fairly old one in the Diamond Art Club catalogue. Not sure how old exactly. Oh, sorry, that was my email tone. I'm just gonna put that on mute so we don't hear that pop up again. Okay, I think I've managed to do that. Yeah, so this is one of the older ones that I think has been around a while, and maybe some of you will have already done this or have it in your stash. They already had it when I discovered DIC, and I didn't really notice it at first. And then is it around September, October time, something like that. There was a painting that I really wanted called Panda Valley. And I typically order 2 paintings at once because that way I get over the free shipping threshold and I don't have to pay the £15 shipping cost to the UK, which is a perfectly reasonable shipping cost from the UK to, I mean, from the United States to the UK, but still, if I don't have to pay it, I won't. So I typically buy 2, and I chose this painting. And it was one of those ones, I don't know if I'm the only one who does this because I'm a bit weird, or if other people do this too. Do you ever buy a painting because obviously you like it? You wouldn't buy it if you weren't liking it, but it's not like your favourite painting ever. And then after you've bought it, you just get more and more drawn to it. That's how I was with this painting. I ordered it as an extra in an order, thinking, yes, I like it very much. And then by the time I'd ordered it and it arrived, I was more excited about this one than the one that I'd actually ordered first. And I haven't actually done Panda Valley painting yet. That is still in my stash, and I'm looking forward to working on that another time. So I'm not sure what it is about this one that drew me in, really. I love landscapes, so that's part of it. I've mentioned before that I just found the colours so much fun. To be honest, I think that's the main thing. I think we all have different, well, obviously we all have different tastes. But some people will pick paintings based on what they want to hang on their walls. Some people will pick paintings based on what they think will be most fun to do. Some people will pick because they like colour blocking and painting has a lot of that, or they like confetti and it has a lot of that. I think the biggest thing for me really is colours. So I do pick paintings based on just the art that I love the most. Of course I do. Like, we're all, what am I doing? We're all drawn to particular artist styles more than others, right? But I know that when I'm diamond painting, I get bored if I'm using the same colours over and over again. I like variety and I like bright colours to work with. And I don't know why, because I don't know why it matters to me really, but that makes it a lot more fun for me to do a painting. So I think that that is what stood out so much about this. Because I'm a landscape fan. I know not everyone is, but I certainly am. I have a lot of landscapes in my stash. But a lot of landscapes are ones where I might love the painting and enjoy the diamond painting for that reason, but they can often be darker or more, what's the word I'm looking for? Not dreary, because that's overly negative, but less varied, I suppose, in the colourway. Like when I did Inspiration of Spring Meadows, and it's a beautiful painting, one of my favourites that I've ever done. But I would get quite bored and burnt out of working with purples and greens, purples and greens, purples and greens. So I would tend to have to work on it in quite small sections, and then I'd feel a little burnt out, and then I would switch to another painting until I was ready to work with those colours again. And I'm guessing, based on the fact that some people really enjoy doing paintings with big sections of colour blocking, that not everyone feels that way. So that's maybe a bit of a me thing. Let me know if you're the same, if colours really draw you in. So yeah, I pick paintings far more based on how fun I think they will be to do than maybe what I would do with the finished product. Because I know that a lot of people, which I totally understand, only want to buy paintings that they think they will eventually hang on their walls, that the art's a piece of art they'd enjoy to have in their house. And that's very understandable. For me, I feel like it's not really an option. So living in the UK, what you tend to find here is that land is expensive, so houses are smaller. And I live in, you know, a perfectly nice sized house for my family, for our needs, but it's not huge, and I don't have loads of wall space. And I also don't want to fill, you know, all my wall space with diamond paintings, because my husband's very supportive of my craft, but I don't think that would be his aesthetic necessarily. And I'm not sure I want them all to be, you know, diamond paintings everywhere either. So I don't buy them based on thinking I will want to hang them up. I do it based on what will be most fun to do for me. And I think, you know, all of these different ways are valid. I think if I were to say I'm not going to buy that painting because I wouldn't hang it up or I wouldn't gift it, then, well, I wouldn't really do much diamond painting. Because everyone I know also lives in houses that, you know, don't have a load of wall space. So I think when that's the norm, when space is smaller, maybe the dynamic of whether you would gift paintings is a little different. Because I see people on Facebook groups over in the United States doing these wonderfully beautiful diamond paintings and getting them all framed up and then gifting them to people, which is so generous and so sweet. But I feel like if I did that here, because space is a bit more of a premium in houses, it would almost feel a bit rude, because if I did like this ginormous painting and gifted it to someone, it's kind of like, if there's only room in the room for one or two paintings, I'm sort of saying, here, let me decorate your room for you, because this is basically the only thing anyone's going to notice in this room because of the proportions of the painting compared to the size of the room. Anyway, I just think that's interesting as a slightly different dynamic to how I choose my paintings. That said, I think that I may actually put this painting on the wall, because currently in my living room, the only diamond painting that we have on display is Skating by Twilight, which is another landscape by actually the same artist as this one, which is Chuck Pinson, and I'm not even sure if I mentioned that when I was going over the painting earlier. So if I didn't, this artwork's by Chuck Pinson, and it's legally licensed artwork to Diamond Art Club. So yeah, I've got Skating by Twilight, which is beautiful wintry scene. You know, it's snowy, there is a Christmas tree, that kind of thing. So I did that painting in about October last year, ready to hang up for Christmas. So we put it up in December, and it is still on the wall. Which is partly because we have these really hard concrete walls in our house, and I think my husband found it so hard to hammer the nails into the wall that he's a little unsure about how to get them out again. But we will get them out at some point. It's also, I've got to be honest, it is also laziness and the fact that we like the painting, so we've left it up. But because that's a sort of winter Chuck Pinson landscape, I thought it might be nice, as it's now May, to switch it out for a summery Chuck Pinson landscape. And I think it will really kind of brighten up our living room, which is not in the best shape because we haven't actually decorated it since we moved in, and it is desperately in need of it. So that is the plan for this painting, after all my chat about not hanging paintings up. Just got to figure out how to get the old one out of the wall without ripping it, because like I say, we nailed it in, so I didn't actually have time after finishing it to figure out a way to frame it cheaply. I need to get better at that, because I know people do all sorts of clever things with like magnetic frames, or painting around the edge of a painting with acrylic paint, or mounting it on foam board, or putting it around wood frames. All these wonderful things which look great and can be cheap and effective ways of framing them. And I was a bit unsure what to do with Skating by Twilight, because the plan was, of course, that it would come down after Christmas. So I sort of wanted to still maintain the ability to roll it up in its box to store it during the year. So yeah, between timing and not being sure how to tackle it, I didn't do anything, and it's literally just been nailed up on the wall as is. Gives you an insight into how organised we are. Oh dear. So yeah, we'll get that figured out soon. So one thing that was not ideal about this painting, I've mentioned the new drills, and they were so sparkly and uniform and lovely, and I'm really looking forward to working on a painting that is all new square drills, because when that happens, Diamond Art Club have started tightening up the grid slightly. So they'll just bring the dimensions of the painting in ever so slightly, because, so I spoke to customer service about this. It's not that the newer drills are smaller, it's that they're so uniform that they don't need to allow a little bit of margin for error, if you like they don't need to have a little bit of extra space so that less uniform drills can be squeezed in without making the diamonds pop. So when they have the whole new drills and they have the smaller grid, it's all going to be just a little bit tighter in together, which will be great, because my one complaint with working on the new drills on a painting that isn't all new drills is that it's a little hard, in my experience on this painting at least, to avoid gapping in those colours, particularly if multi-placing, which I like to do wherever I can. So that was a little frustrating, because I felt that there was a bit more gapping on this painting than I am used to, certainly with Diamond Art Club, because their paintings are such great quality. I think it'll be fine, because I know that the glue will shrink down a little bit. Now the painting's done, the glue will kind of finish curing and shrink in a little bit and take the drills with it. And it's not a massive problem anyway, because I mean, from a distance you can't see, there is no problem whatsoever. It's me being, I suppose, a bit perfectionist, because I do like my drills to be nice and neat. So even though I know it doesn't really matter if there's tiny gaps when I'm up close, I struggle to let go of, you know, trying to push them into place, trying to get them to line up really neatly. So that was a little annoying. But as I say, it's, you know, a complaint that you have when there was hardly anything wrong with a painting. There were some marks on some paler drills and a little bit more gapping that's barely noticeable. It's not a big problem, and worth it for them to transition to the new drills. And like I said earlier, I totally understand why they've had to transition to the new drills, and why we're in this position where you can have a mixture of drills in a kit. I feel like I've said the word drills far too many times and it's starting to lose all meaning. So it's a busy week here. I wasn't sure if I was going to get around to filming this video today, or if this would all just sit in my storage pots for a lot longer, because we're going away this weekend, and then the following weekend, so we're going away for a long weekend from Friday to Monday, and the following Friday my parents are visiting, along with one of my nephews who they're bringing with them, who is particularly close to my son. They're the closest in age out of all the cousins on my parents' side of the family, so they get on really well, and they're coming up for the weekend, and that'll be lovely. And the problem that I now have is, after 2 years of, well, you know what, that's been going on, that's made it a little harder to see people, my parents haven't actually been to visit for all that time. They last came in very early 2020. They were going to visit at one point, kind of, I think it was last autumn, they were going to visit, and then they couldn't because my mum was ill. She's had quite a few health issues in the last few years, which has been an extra worry on top of everything else. So they couldn't visit. I think she was in hospital at the time. They haven't come up, and I'm really excited to have them come up. But we as a family are not the tidiest of people. There's quite a lot of clutter, and I've got to be honest, 2 years of not having as many visitors in the house has not done me any favors there, because there are parts of the house where clutter has built up beyond levels I am comfortable with. So, as well as preparing for going away this weekend and, you know, getting us packed up and all of the usual things, I am trying to spring clean, trying to declutter. I sent my husband to the tip yesterday with some things that we'd cleared out of the garage, but I mean, he's going to need to do that again in a few days with all the things that I need to put out of the house. So yeah, it's a busy week. And I also need to get my son on board, because he is 8 and he's at that sort of transitional age where we still have a lot of toys and books and things around the house from when he was younger that honestly he never picks up and plays with anymore, like ever. But if you say to him, oh, you haven't played with that for like 3 years, can we get rid of that? He'll be like, no, and suddenly be desperately attached to it. I don't know. If any of you are parents, you will probably have encountered this phenomenon yourselves. And it's very annoying. So I need to get him on board to actually clear out some of the games and things that he has. Because, for instance, he has a pile of board games, and the other day we were at a friend's house and they wanted to play a board game, and he was like, I don't like board games, which isn't really true, but he said, I don't like board games. I said, okay, so let's clear out some of those board games we have at home that you haven't played with for ages. He was like, no, not those board games. So I plan to get him on board by trying to sell a few of them on something like Facebook Marketplace. I've told him he won't get much money for them. He'll get, you know, maybe a couple of pounds if he's lucky. But he would be glad to have a little bit of extra spending money, as, you know, pretty much every kid ever would probably be able to relate to that. And then some we will donate to charity, and some we will maybe but pass on a local hand me on group where people pass things on that they no longer need. So we'll do a combination of those things so that we can do our bit but also get him on board. That makes him sound really bad. But he's 8. You know, he's on that learning curve, and he is a kind and caring person, but he's 8. So there's limits to how much he can cope with giving up in one go. Almost done with this part of the kitting down. And then I will show you how I deal with the remainder of the drills. What am I doing? Getting temporarily confused. Last one coming up. It's a beautiful sunny day here. I need to get this all done and tidied up before I have to go on the school run in about an hour and 3/4, because I reckon that my son is going to want to go to the park after school with his friends. Because it's actually the first nice warm day we've had here in quite a while. It's not been a great spring. Okay, let me clear up from this stage. Okay, so I just have this small amount of remaining colours that I may or may not already have bags for in the spare drill storage that I had previously set up. And these are all my empty pots that I've just cleared out, just organised in there. So what I'm going to do now is bring in my laptop again, which again, apologies that you won't be able to see this very well. I'm just going to scroll to the bottom and add in the DMC numbers of the colours I have remaining. So I will do that now. Right, and now I've done that, I will add borders around just because I like it to look that way. I'm going to scroll back to the top and I'm going to use the filter tool in Excel to sort all of these DMC numbers in ascending order. And then I'm just scanning down to see where I have a duplicate. So here I've got 136 blue AB, and because I've already got the colour name listed on the spreadsheet, I know that I have already got this on here. So I've now got 2 rows of 136 because there's the one I just added and the one I already had. So I'm just highlighting that and highlighting any others where I can see there's now a duplicate entry for that colour. And what that means is I have previously had to make a bag for that colour. It's not too many. Okay, so it looks like most of these are going to be new ones. Okay, so I've got that done there, and now I just need to find those bags from my previous storage. And this is why on my spreadsheet I have listed the colour names for the drills that I've got in here, because it really helps me to find them if I know what sort of colour I'm looking for. So I'm just going to speed this up while I go through these and pull out the drills I need. Okay, so that didn't take too long. I found the bags that I had already set up, and I'm just going to put those in now. Just a quick check that they look fairly similar, because die lots do change over time. And the lines on my spreadsheet that I had highlighted to show me that there was an existing bag of drills for me to find, I've just deleted off, so I know that that's dealt with. What storage system do you all use if you keep your spare drills like I am here? I see a lot of people use the kind of baseball card type storage box. That looks really good. But then I wonder how many I would need, because I like to keep the drills from different companies separate. I could just have Diamond Art Club Round and Diamond Art Club Square and then keep doing things this way for other companies, I guess, because I probably do more Diamond Art Club paintings than any other company, so I'm going to have more of their spares. Yeah, I'm not too sure, because I don't want to invest money in setting up a new storage system and then find I don't actually like working that way. But I am going to have to do something at this point, because I mean, this didn't take too long. I only had to find 5 colours, and I don't have loads and loads of spares yet for Diamond Art Club squares. But with bigger bags, like when I did my last kitting down video and I had DAC rounds that I've done a couple more of, it did take quite a while to find them, which is fine, but it would be good to have a more efficient system. I can imagine getting to a point eventually where I have so many spares that I no longer feel like it's worth going to the effort of keeping them. It would be really satisfying to just be tipping them all into a big jar or something, and that's that. But right now, I think it's worth the effort, because it, like I said earlier, it's just nice to know that if I run out of a colour and I have it in this spare drill storage, then I don't need to wait a couple of weeks for it to come from the US. Oh, knocking the camera there. Okay, so the last little bit on my spreadsheet, I don't think I'll be able to show you very well, but basically I'm now left with some lines on this spreadsheet that have a gap in the colour name section so that I can see they're the new ones, and I'm just going to write up some labels for those. But on the home stretch now, there's really not too many to go. So I've got 1, 3, 4. Okay, let's get those last few drills in a baggie. Actually looks like it's starting to cloud over now after me saying what a lovely day it looked like. The weather forecast is bonkers this week. It's getting really wide swings in temperature range, and then some days look like they're just going to be wall-to-wall rain, and some days look really sunny. Ugh, British summertime. But I hope it stays dry because I have to take my son to football training later on today. Football training is probably what you guys over the pond would refer to as soccer. And my son is football mad. But normally my husband, his dad, takes him to training while I stay home and cook dinner. Because it's around that early evening time and it's a school day, so yeah. But my husband has a work event today. He actually works at the university here in the city where we live as a lecturer, and he's got a dinner with some of his students today. So he's out, so I'm taking my son to training, which is actually quite fun because I do really enjoy watching him. But it means we'll get back quite late for a temp. Oh, that was a close one. Almost nudged that off the table. We'll get back a bit late for me to cook anything particularly nice. So I have said to my son that we will get a takeaway as a treat. There's a particular place that he really likes that's actually one of the cheaper takeaways we go to, so it makes it a bit easier to do. But they are not very good on vegetarian options, and my husband is a vegetarian. And sometimes when we've ordered from them in the past, we've ordered him a vegetarian option and it's come with meat. I think he orders a wrap, and they call both the vegetarian version and the meat version the classic wrap, I guess. And I think sometimes when they're cooking quickly and they just see classic wrap, they don't check which one it is, which is unfortunate because a couple of times his food has arrived from there and he's bitten into it and I'm like, no, this is not the one. But it's my son's favourite burger, so him and I will have a nice treat as it's just the two of us. What am I doing? I haven't put my label on. I'm getting muddled now. Anyway, I'm looking forward to being able to watch my son train for once. He absolutely loves football. He's been playing on this under-8s team all of this year, and they started off, because they were a new team, they were at the bottom of the league, because even though they're really young, it's all like proper leagues and registered with the FA and all this kind of thing. So they started off in the bottom league just because they hadn't even started to prove themselves yet. But so far in the 2 seasons, because it's like 2 short seasons within the year, they have gone up both seasons. Sorry, this bag's got a little fault there, but I don't think it's going to stop it working. Yeah, I don't think there's a hole. So they've done really well. And I think it's a really good activity for him at this age, because particularly in the team that he's on and the atmosphere that they have, it hits a really good balance of fun, because they're 8 or 7 in some cases, because it's an under 8s team, which means you have to be 8 or under at the start of the season. So they have a lot of fun and it's not really pressured, but at the same time there's competition, there's training, they take it seriously, they try their best to win, and that's, I think, as long as there's a balance, that's good for him. That's good training to have, I suppose, a bit of responsibility to a team. Like, there's no, oh, I don't feel like training today, so I'm not going to bother to turn up. It's, no, you've made a commitment to the team. You know that you have training tonight. Not that that happens very often at all, because he almost always wants to play football. So yeah, it's been a good experience for him this year. In the past, he felt a bit nervous about this kind of thing. And although he really enjoyed, well, lots of sports, actually, he's a good little sportsman, and he's actually pretty good at most sports he tries. So even though he liked a lot of sports, he didn't have the confidence to join a team, because he still felt like he preferred to do activities with us or with friends that he knew really well, rather than joining a team full of what would be strangers at first, which, of course, as anyone can understand, is quite daunting. So it's been really enjoyable watching him grow, watching him make friends on the team, watching him contribute to the team, and all of that good stuff. Okay, last colour, an island time. Not sure what word my mouth was going for then, but it wasn't the one I was aiming for. Island time is kitted down and complete. So the last thing that I will do is go through my two tabs on my spreadsheet and add names to any new additions, so that I get the colour name on there, because as I mentioned earlier, at various points that's really helpful to have a reference for what colour I'm looking for in the bag. And that is it. I don't think I'll film that, because, to be honest, that's not going to be very interesting for you, and I would just time lapse it anyway. But yeah, I hope that you enjoyed seeing how I go about this. I don't think I'm going to film every kitting down video that I do, because they'd probably get quite similar. But I think it's quite useful to see how different people do it. And although my system isn't at all sophisticated, it's pretty easy and pretty cheap to set up. So hopefully just seeing how I organise it can maybe help some people. I think the key thing is having a list, having a spreadsheet or a paper list, or however you want to track it, but a way of keeping up to date with what you've got. Because if I'm working on a painting and I'm getting low on drills and think, do I have this? I don't go and look through the bag of drills. I just pull up the spreadsheet on my phone and I can see at a glance if I've got it or not. So that's the key thing, I think, to making a slightly more messy system like this work. So I hope it's been helpful for you to watch that, and maybe given you some ideas about what you can do with your own spare drills for a lower cost than some options. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please do consider clicking on the like button, and even better, subscribing to my channel. It's a new channel which I am trying to grow and trying to learn how to put out better and better content for you. Hopefully I'm on that path. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.